Hey, this is Dwayne again. This lesson is going to be a little different tonight. The name of the lesson is Crossroads, and I ran out of time because I procrastinated and then just had too much stuff piled up on me and did not have time to do the complete lesson. So this is going to be like the Cliff Notes version of the lesson, which is Crossroads tonight, and which is to get y'all through tonight. And I'm going to do a more complete version of it over the weekend, okay? But for right now, we're going to talk a little bit about Crossroads, and how ironic, I'm on the road right now, right? And if I'm on the road, that means I'm going to come up to a crossroad. That means I'm going to have to make a decision if I want to turn left, right, or keep going straight, or if I want to turn around and go back. And who wants to go back, right? You only go back unless you forget something. And I know there's a lot of stuff we want to forget, but we can't forget because it stays on our mind, even subconsciously, whether we think it does or not. And that's why we got to remember, and that's why we got to bring it back to the present, and that's why we got to process it properly so that we can really put it in the past, and so that we can really put it behind us and not be looking back at it, and we can move forward into the future. And so and I don't have the step principle in front of me right now, so I can't read that, but I can tell you that we're changing those tonight, and we're going to be studying on basically maintenance of, we made a lot of progress, right? We learned what denial was. We still have denial. We're always going to have a small amount of that, but at least we know what it is now, and we're starting to recognize it in our life, right? And so maybe down the road we'll recognize it immediately every time it comes up. And driving through Selma, and I'd be honest with you, there's no telling what you're going to see in this place. So I was just kind of checking out the police officers with a group of people over there to the left. But anyway, so we're at the crossroads, and no better way to talk about crossroads is when I'm on the road. But I'm being constantly aware of traffic around me. I'm not being distracted. I'm not reading anything. I'm not texting and driving. I'm not looking down at you. I'm looking at my signs. I'm looking at my cars. I'm driving defensively and offensively and everything in between. And that's how we go through life, right? So it doesn't matter what a degree of denial you think you know what it is, or justifying and blaming other people for the things we do. Even though we can improve on all those things, we still live one day at a time, and we're still on a road. If you're on a road, you're always going to be having to make decisions and come up on crossroads. But the most important decision that you ever made in your life was going to be that decision way early in the year, or maybe you made it 15 years ago or 20 years ago, but that decision was to bring Christ into your life, right? And so that's the very most important decision you will ever face, okay? And so there's a car accident up ahead, and so bear with me just a minute, because people are pulling over to get out of the way, and there's a police officer there flagging traffic. So I'm going to lose my train of thought for just momentarily. And like I said, you never know what you're going to come across when you're on the road, right? And this is an analogy for life in general. And you're going to come up on a lot of stuff, and you got to be aware of it. It's better to be aware of it than to not be aware of what can happen. And because if you're not aware of stuff, it may sneak up on you and kick you in the butt. And just like this accident here, that wasn't me, but that was somebody's kid, or somebody's mother, or somebody's father, or whatever. And I hope everybody's okay. But anyway, so what I'm saying here is, you can be at the pinnacle of success as far as on your journey of kicking your habits, or kicking some of those hang-ups and hurts that you got in your life. But the point is, you're never going to get off the road. You're always going to be on the road of life. And anytime you're on a road, whether it's a highway or whether it's an analogy talking about the road of life, you're going to actually come up on some decisions that you're going to have to make. And they're either going to be good decisions, or they're going to be bad decisions, or they're going to be decisions that really aren't going to make a difference whatsoever. And the point is, you want to make good decisions. And one way to do this, the first thing you can do, is you want to take some time every day. And I'm parked now, so I can look straight at you, okay? I'm parked, I'm safe, I'm not driving, so I can look at the camera and look directly at you. But the main point is, what you want to do is you want to allocate some time every day. And I know we all fail at it, but try to make it a habit, and that way, once it becomes a habit, it's actually a good habit instead of a bad habit. But every day, stop, allocate some time, pray to God, read your Bible, and reflect on what you have to do that day, and reflect on what happened the day before, and then any decision that you make, involve God in that decision, and that will help you make good decisions and help you stay on the right path. And so as long as you keep God in the vehicle with you, and let Him help guide your steering wheel, and ask God for His will to be in your life, and to kind of like push your will to the side and start letting Him take over the driving, so to speak. It may feel a little funny at first, and you may feel like you're losing something, but what you're losing is some of the bad things in your life, okay? That's probably going to hurt you. But you're really gaining something, okay? Because nobody knows what's going to help you be who you're going to be, not even yourself, except for God, because God knows everything. He knows more than me. He knows better than you. He knows better than everybody. So basically, God's will ultimately is something to strive for, as far as when you make decisions in your life. And I'm not talking about asking God whether or not you should buy a piece of bubble gum or something at the bubble gum machine, not with little stuff. I'm talking about some of the bigger things, and especially the most or the largest things in your life, the largest decisions and all that. And instead of just impulsively doing things like so many of us have done so many times over the years, take your time, pray about it, sleep on it, maybe sleep on it for a week or 2 or 3 or 4, and then follow through on it. And anytime you come up to a crossroads, recognize it is what it is. It is a crossroads, and whether it's a good decision or not, you respect that it's a crossroads. You've got to respect. You got to learn how to recognize the crossroads in your life, because there's always going to be crossroads, and there's always going to be times when we make mistakes. And but the key is we want to make less mistakes than we used to, and that's where we're at, okay? And keep God by your side, and everything's going to be good. And trust. And I'm not saying bad things aren't going to happen, but even if bad things happen, trust. That's what you got to do. Anyway, I'm going to sign off with that, and I'll talk to you later. All right, good night.